The daybreak does not simply arrive in Hollywood. It makes a grand theatrical entrance. By 9 in the morning, the light has already begun its slow, deliberate crawl across the pink terrazzo of the boulevard. The sun acts as a master cinematographer, hitting the brass outlines of the stars with such surgical precision that the entire sidewalk appears to be breathing. This is 1959, and the Walk of Fame is in its vibrant electric youth. The pavement is a meticulously polished blend of crushed marble and dyed cement, a surface so smooth it mimics the look of a desert mirage. Under the morning glare, the floor feels liquid, a rose-colored river flowing toward the horizon. There are over 2,000 names etched here, catching the light. The engineering of the terrazzo is a marvel of the era. You can feel the coolness of the marble chips through the soles of your shoes, a grounding sensation in the rising heat. The pink hue isn't just a color, it's a mood designed to flatter the skin tones of the passers-by. Every footstep creates a faint, rhythmic clack that echoes against the Art Deco facades of the buildings. The crowds arrive not in silence, but in a symphony of movement. Families from the deep heart of the Midwest, Iowa, Nebraska, Kansas, spill out of station wagons. They are easy to spot. The men in crisp, short-sleeved shirts, the women in floral cotton dresses, and the children with eyes wide enough to swallow the palm trees. Kodak Brownie cameras hang like religious talismans. They come because they believe the rumor that this specific stretch of earth is charged with a different kind of gravity. They believe that the soil here remembers, and it does. Every name cast in bronze, the crooners who sang the nation to sleep during the war, the silent film comedians, represents a fragment of a shared memory. To stand on a name is to touch a ghost. Grandparents pause over the names of legends from the 30s, their smiles holding a private depth that the younger generation cannot yet grasp. For them, these aren't just celebrities, they are the soundtracks to their first dates. Meanwhile, teenagers run ahead, their laughter blending with the distant rhythmic hum of a city that feels like it's just beginning to wake up. The boulevard possesses its own heavy, intoxicating perfume. It is the scent of sun-warmed palm fronds and the salty, buttery air drifting from the popcorn carts. It is the aroma of dark roasted coffee spilling out from the cracked door of a nearby diner, mixed with the sharp chemical tang of high-octane gasoline from a passing Cadillac. It is the smell of a dream. The air is also thick with the scent of Sea and Ski suntan lotion and the floral notes of Evening in Paris perfume. It's a sensory cocktail of ambition and leisure. You can feel the static electricity of the dry California air, a buzzing energy that makes the hair on your arms stand up. Everything is vivid, high definition, and saturated in a way the modern world has lost. By 10 o'clock, Hollywood Boulevard isn't just a street. It is the happiest, most radiant acre in America. The sun reflects off the chrome bumpers of the Buicks and Oldsmobiles, creating a kaleidoscope of moving light that dances across the faces of the hopeful. This is the peak of the American century, and the sidewalk is the stage where the dream is performed daily. The shop doors are flung open to invite the breeze, and by mid-morning the cash registers are already singing a metallic tune. Tourists crowd the glass counters, pointing at postcards and miniature bronze replicas of the Hollywood sign. These are trinkets that will soon live on mantles across the country, serving as anchors for stories told for decades to come. The map seller on the corner has been a fixture of this intersection since the early 50s. He possesses a voice made of gravel and infectious enthusiasm, capable of selling the same map to the stars homes to visitors from 40 different states. Today is a good Tuesday. He has already cleared his morning quota before the shadows have even begun to shorten. The air is filled with the mechanical click-snap of folding cameras. It is the specific sound of the 50s, a satisfied, decisive noise that confirms a moment has been successfully preserved. In 2 weeks, in darkrooms across the nation, these rolls will reveal the same radiant backdrop. Pink stone, golden sun, and names that require no further explanation for the family. A double-decker tour bus lumbers down the street at a crawl. The guide's voice, amplified through a crackling loudspeaker, drifts over the sidewalk, blending with the upbeat rock and roll blasting from a nearby record shop. The shop is a temple of black vinyl, where a 20-year-old clerk has decided to set the day's tempo with something that feels like the future. The record shop smells of fresh cardboard and the subtle ozone scent of a humming tube amplifier. You can hear the needle dropping onto the groove, a faint pop before the brassy swell of the music takes over. It's a physical, tactile connection to the art. People linger by the bins, their fingers flipping through the sleeves in a rhythmic, hypnotic motion. Outside the shop, a small, spontaneous circle of strangers forms. They stand together for a few moments, united by a hit single and the warmth of the sun. They don't speak, but they nod in a shared, silent rhythm. It is the kind of magic that only happens here, where the music is good enough to turn a crowd of strangers into an audience. The world feels unified. The sound of the boulevard is a complex weave. The brassy music, the collective chatter of the tourists, the low roar of V8 engines, and the occasional sharp whistle of a traffic cop. Together, they create a frequency that exists nowhere else on Earth. Those who hear it today will carry the vibration in their bones, filed away in the memory alongside a warm pretzel. You can hear the hissing of the air brakes from the buses and the rhythmic thump-thump of tires crossing the expansion joints in the asphalt. There's the sound of a newsboy shouting headlines about the space race, his voice cutting through the hum of the crowd. It's a sonic tapestry of a society in motion, moving forward with an unshakable belief in its own destiny. It is the sound of a world living in the absolute present, without apology. At noon, the sidewalk glimmers like the surface of a polished sea. The heat begins to bake the scent of the city into the air, a mixture of hot rubber, expensive tobacco, and the ozone of the electric signs waiting for the night. Everything is vibrating with the intensity of a sun that refuses to hide. Standing as the beating heart of the boulevard is the Grauman's Chinese Theatre. In 1959, it has presided over this street for 32 years, having witnessed enough premieres and frantic crowds to develop a soul entirely independent of the films on its screen. It is an architectural fever dream, golden pagodas, bronze dragons, and lacquered red columns that defy the law. The texture of the building is a sensory overload. You can touch the cold, smooth bronze of the dragons and feel the rough, ancient-looking plaster of the pagodas. The colors are so saturated they seem to hum. Imperial red, forest green, and a gold that looks like it was harvested from the sun itself. It is a palace of the imagination, standing tall in the California glare. The real draw isn't the film playing inside, it is the concrete courtyard out front. This is the forecourt of the stars, a secular sanctuary where the physical imprints of human history have been frozen in stone for 3 decades. The tourists kneel. They place their palms into the indentations left by legends. Children measure their feet against the boots of Western heroes. Young women find the handprints of leading men and linger just a second too long, as if a spark of that old glamour might still be lingering in the cement. The textures of the courtyard are varied, the rough coldness of the concrete, the smooth metal of the entrance doors, and the velvet ropes that guide the curious. It is a place where the intangible becomes touchable. An older man in a charcoal fedora kneels by a specific set of prints. He doesn't take a photo. He doesn't even touch the ground. He simply looks, his gaze fixed with the quiet intensity of someone remembering a debt he can never repay. His wife stands beside him, holding their bags, waiting with the patient grace of a woman who has spent 30 years learning his silence. Something in his posture causes the rushing crowd to instinctively give him space. There is a primal respect shown for a moment, whose meaning isn't understood, but is clearly recognized as important. On the other side of the courtyard, a trio of women from Ohio check names off a meticulous list, with the satisfied air of archivists completing a monumental task in the sun. The Grauman's Chinese is where people come to measure their own reality against something that lasted. A 7-year-old boy discovers his foot fits perfectly into a print and shouts for his father, believing he has found a secret treasure. The father runs over. The mother raises the camera and the shutter clicks. This story will be told 40 years from now, and it will be true. Inside the theater, the air is 20 degrees cooler and smells of heavy velvet and ozone. The darkness is a velvet curtain that drops over the senses, a stark contrast to the white-hot world outside. But even here, the energy of the boulevard creeps in through the heavy doors, a faint rhythmic hum of the city that refuses to be silenced by the flickering of the screen. The courtyard remains the primary stage. You can see the patterns in the concrete, the swirls of the trowel, the imperfections that make it human. It's an archive of the touch. Every handprint is a silent handshake across time. In 1959, these prints are still relatively fresh, the edges of the signatures sharp and clear, before the millions of hands of the future wear them down. By 2 in the afternoon, The California sun has reached the temperature the locals call standard, and the tourists call impossible, but the boulevard does not retreat. The momentum of the day is too strong to be slowed by mere heat. People keep moving, keep buying, keep pointing, and keep asking questions of strangers who are just as lost and just as happy as they are. There is a strange shared openness on this stretch of Terrazzo. The typical city shyness evaporates under the glare. People share tips on the best place for a milkshake or where to buy the cheapest film rolls. They are united by the simple, radiant fact of being here, together, under a sun that turns the pink sidewalk into a slow-motion mirror reflecting the American spirit. The restaurant terraces are packed. Waiters move with the practiced efficiency of athletes, serving families who are too excited to decide between the Maryland Sundae or the Bogart burger. At a long corner table, two couples from Minnesota and a family from Houston share their stories. If this journey into the golden age of Hollywood moves you, leave a like to keep the memory alive. The tables are covered in starched white linen that feels cool against the skin. You can hear the clinking of ice cubes in tall glasses of Coca-Cola and the rhythmic swish of the overhead fans. The smell of the cafe is a mixture of grilled burgers, vanilla extract, and the faint citrusy scent of the dish soap. It's a clean, domestic aroma in the heart of the entertainment capital. From a jazz club down the block, the sounds of a rehearsal drift through the open doors. A trumpet flare here, a drum roll there, scraps of a Cole Porter standard that would be beautiful if anyone were paying attention. But the passers-by don't stop. They simply change their gait. They walk with a bit more swing, a bit more rhythm, wearing the unconscious smile of a secret kept. On the corner of Vine, the popcorn man's red wagon glows with an intensity that rivals the brass stars themselves. He has sold over 100 bags since the morning. Two girls in sundresses race over the names, jumping from bronze to bronze like they are skipping stones across a rose-colored river. No one stops them. This is the world's most famous floor, and it was meant to be run upon. Everything on the boulevard has reached its perfect temperature. The air, the light, and the mixture of music and voices that transforms a simple sidewalk into a memory. Subscribe to Memories Reanimated to keep walking these historic streets with us. We are the architects of nostalgia, rebuilding a world that felt finished and elegant, one star-shaped piece of terrazzo at a time. You can feel the weight of the history being made. In 1959, Hollywood knows it is the king of the world. There is no doubt, no cynicism, just a radiant, sun-drenched belief that beauty and talent are the ultimate currencies. The air is thick with the possibility of being discovered, a dream that hangs over the boulevard like the morning mist, refusing to burn away in the heat. Even the stray dogs on the boulevard seem more dignified. The pigeons don't scatter. They simply move aside with a practiced indifference. Every element of the street, the fire hydrants, the street lamps, the trash cans, feels like it was designed by a committee of artists. It's a world where the aesthetic is the law, and the law is written in pink marble and brass. The late afternoon in Hollywood is different from the morning, not in its spirit but in its hue. By 5 o'clock, the sun has migrated far enough to the west that the light becomes horizontal, hitting the buildings sideways and stretching the shadows of the palms into long, elegant inclines across the pink terrazzo. Each palm tree casts a perfect silhouette that slices the stars. The bronze names glow differently now. They lose the sharp white flash of midday and take on a deeper, warmer radiance, the exact color of old honey or burnished gold. This is the light that painters call the golden hour, and in 1959, California, it is a free gift given to anyone who cares to look up. The air begins to cool, carrying the first hints of the evening's sophistication. The tour groups begin to thin. Families regroup at the curb, counting children and checking their maps for the route back to the motel. Someone has always lost a hat. Someone has always found a forgotten bag of souvenirs left on a bench. The sellers begin their final tallies. The popcorn man wipes down his red wagon. The map seller counts his stock with a quiet satisfaction. An elderly couple walks slowly, hand in hand, looking at the ground with the calm of people who have been here 1,000 times and yet always find something new, a name they missed, or the specific way the light hits the terrazzo at this exact minute. Their silence is a testament to the endurance of the boulevard. They are the living witnesses to the radiant history of the dream. You can feel the transition. The day's frantic energy is dissolving into a smooth, rhythmic hum. The smell of the air shifts from hot asphalt to a cooler floral scent, jasmine and gardenias blooming in the hidden courtyards of the Hollywood Hills. The city is taking a breath, shedding its skin of sunshine to prepare for the electric scales of the night. By 6:30, the boulevard prepares for its second life. The neon signs begin to flicker to life: pink, yellow, sapphire blue, and the historic red of the Musso and Frank sign that has burned since 1919. The jazz club musicians begin their first real set. The sound of a saxophone begins to weave through the twilight, a soulful invitation to the night's hidden possibilities. The pink terrazzo stars remain beneath everyone's feet. They glow now with neon light instead of California sun, but they continue to remember, continue to shine, and continue to be the most cinematic floor in the world. This was a Tuesday in July 1959 on Hollywood Boulevard. A solar, radiant day filled with people who came to see something legendary and left feeling part of it. The lights of the city begin to reflect in the chrome of the parked cars, turning them into glowing gems. The world feels safe, expensive, and infinitely promising. In 1959, the night is not a dark place. It's a canvas for light. You can hear the distant, muffled roar of the freeway, a reminder that the world is moving, but for this moment, time has stopped on the pink terrazzo. Which perspective should we explore next to continue our immersive journey? The backstage secrets of a 1950s Broadway opening night, or the sun-drenched glamour of a vintage French Riviera summer? Leave your vote below and join us. I am Gemini, and this was another dive into the depths of the history that shaped who we are. Until the next journey into the radiant heart of the past. Remember that every thread of the past is a lesson for the future, and every radiant day in history was a battle won for the soul. Thank you for walking this boulevard with us, and for honoring the memory of a time when the world felt new. The neon may flicker, but the heat of the story remains. Keep the flame of the past alive, for the sun of 1959 never truly sets in our hearts. Take one last look at the stars before the light fades completely. They are the anchors of our collective memory, the fixed points in a world that is always changing. As long as the pink terrazzo remains, the dream of 1959 is alive. We are the guardians of that dream, the ones who refuse to let the golden light grow dim. The boulevard is waiting for you to walk it once again.